We're
Oh,
live.
there we go.
Welcome, Nicole, to my
Hello.
party. To my retirement. No, not retirement. What's it called? Hiatus.
Um, Hiatus. Yes. Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. I get to be, I guess, one of the last people you talk to before you go off.
At least on a live for sure.
Yes, at least on a live. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not planning more live, so if I do one, it's gonna be just me having an aha moment I need to share or something.
Yeah.
And killing time because so fun thing, welcome everyone. We're gonna Shall we do introductions first and then we can like talk?
Sure. Yeah, whatever you want.
So we
I'm
have no
flexible.
plan, guys. We have no plans for this. Me and Nicole wanted to go on a live together for the longest time, and we have something in common, which is time, and more exactly the pausing part of time. The fact that we want to redefine how to live a fulfilling life that includes also pausing because it's so important. And somehow, in this hustle culture that we're surrounded by, it seems like a four-letter word. Pause.
Yes.
It's 5 letters, right?
Right.
uh, that's why we're here. But let me in I will have Nicole introduce herself because you're the guest, and then I'll introduce myself a little bit super fast too, and then we take it from there.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. So great to be here. My name is Nicole. My Substack is called The Pause for Solos. And my Substack, the name has changed so many times since I've been on Substack. But I think this one, I think we're good now. We're going to stick with it. And the reason why it's called the Pause for Solos is, well, first, I'm a mental health coach in my full time job and in my business. I do mental health coaching. Most of my clients are women solopreneurs. So the idea is that I'm working with women who are really stretched thin as they're trying to build something, but they're really wanting to build in a way that doesn't break them. They're wanting to build in a way that honors their whole person, spirit, mind, and body. So I've been through many seasons of feeling broken and feeling like I'm just pushing and pushing and giving, and learned a lot in those seasons. And so what I do is share my lessons learned and coach people through that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was taking notes, so if you see me looking down, it's because I
Okay.
my camera is on a stand, and underneath I have coffee and two notebooks because why would I have one? And I'm taking notes, and I'm like, that's a new name for me. I thought it was called something else. So I can
and
confirm
it
it's been a
and
few
it was.
days. But I think it reflects exactly what your message is about, and I love it. And actually, yeah, I always have an issue with me time as the name of my publication because it in a way it speaks a lot about what it is, and in many ways it could be so many other things too that it's a bit like, what is this exactly? But anyways, that's why subtitles are for.
Yeah.
Thank you for the introduction. And just quickly, who I am for the ones that join from the app and don't know what they pressed on. My name is Noemi Petri. I'm an ex-lawyer, corporate lawyer in IT. I quit my 9 to 5 December 2024 in search for some me time and to find a different way to practice law or have a career that is not kind of guaranteed to burn you out, and where there's more meaning and more satisfaction, and where I feel like I also help people and not just corporations. And I created my first publication, Me Time, in order to really speak about the thing that really helped me in my journey out of burnout and into thriving, was taking a lot of me time, which is a break, which is the pause. It's
Mhm.
that time you take for yourself, and it's not selfish. It's necessary. It's what any person, woman, man, child needs in order to process all of the information, all of the things that are coming to us. And people say, oh, there's no time to pause and things like that, but I think there's so many benefits to pausing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So welcome. We're going to try to keep it as practical as possible. Nicole, with your clients, I feel like you can give us so many examples of pausing that has
Yes.
transformative powers. And of course, this is a perfect topic for today because I'm going on maternity leave. So I'm taking a little pause from Substack to bring a human in the world, which is exciting, and also trying to remember how to fully pause, allow
Mm.
myself to do that, giving my nervous system a break when it really, really needs it, is something that I want to talk to you, Nicole, about. But let's
Yeah.
start with your year of pause, and then I'll tell you about my year of pause, and we see where we go with the conversation.
Okay. So wait, you said let's talk about my year of pause. Is that what you said?
Did you say that 2026 is your year of the pause, or am I not a good enough reader of your
No.
publication?
No, you're an excellent reader of my publication. That's exactly what I said. So those of you that don't know me or have never read my publication before, at the end of 2025, I did um, I called it my countdown into the year of pause, which was this 2026. And every day I was giving a different aspect of, I'm sorry that it's a little bit loud. There's some people across the street, but um, I did a countdown on to this year. And so every day I had some kind of practical thing to say about the pause. So I did a posting every single day of December leading up to the year of pause. And I just kept saying, 2026 is the year of the pause. And for me, what that meant was I was going to be focusing on doing more teaching, more training on what that meant, on what the year of the pause was, and how, and the different types of pausing that we can do so that people really understand. Because, like Noemi said, a lot of times people say, there's no time for pausing because they think that pausing means an abrupt stop, like a complete stop. And that's not necessarily what it means. It can mean that, but there's so many different ways. And so that's what I anticipated doing when I did this major countdown. However, what ended up happening was on January 2nd of 2026, I got extremely sick, and I was sick for about 2.5 weeks. And at toward the end of that 2.5 weeks, I lost a dear cousin of mine to cancer. And right around that same exact time that I lost my cousin and I was trying to figure out how to move across or how to get across the country to her services, I found out that my grandmother was being transferred from the Northeast in the states, Philadelphia, all the way down to Savannah to my mom, and she was going to be staying in my mom's home, and my mom was going to be caring for her. Which, to make a long story very short, that was very stressful situation because my mom has her own health challenges, and so I realized that I wasn't going to be able to have my plan that I originally had for the 2026 for the start of the year. And I ended up having to abruptly leave my home, which was far away from all of these people. And I'm here now in Savannah, Georgia, in a pretty intense caregiving situation, which really put a pause on all of my planning. And and all of the services that I was planning on rolling out this year. And Not that I won't roll them out. It's just having to I had to pivot, right? Sometimes when a pause happens, it's not necessarily stopping everything. It's that you have to pivot what you're doing. And that's exactly what I had to and am still in the process of doing right now. So yeah, it was a major pause, and it was not an intentional pause. I call it I teach about this, the idea of the intentional pause and the forced pause. So for me, this was kind of a forced pause to my world so that I could care for other people.
How do you deal with the forced pause when life forces you to pause? Like,
Yeah.
what is the way to go about it? Because I feel like resisting it is the worst part. Would be the worst thing to do.
Yes, and to quite honestly, I did that in the like for the first week. I was just like, this cannot be happening. I cannot be having to leave my home for right now it's been a little bit over a month, and I was like, this cannot happen, and I was crying all the time, like just I was just crying, crying, crying until finally I just had to kind of snap into a different mindset and just be like, okay, this is happening. I'm going to honor and support my mom in what she's doing. That's not an option. I'm definitely going to do that. So what do I need to do for me um to be okay? And I had to do a lot of I call it like the deletion. I had to delete a lot of things that I had planned. And I just had to, one, be okay with that and realize that it wasn't the end of the world for me to not have all of these things on my plate at one time. And then I also had to prioritize and pick and choose the things that I could actually continue moving forward with in the new capacity. It's a temporary capacity, but it is my capacity right now. What could I actually do in the capacity that I have? And so it took me, boohooing a little bit and then pulling it together and then just kind of clearing my mind, pausing. Like I had to take some intentional pauses within the force pause to be like, okay, Nicole, you know what to do. You know what needs to be done. So what are some things that you can do? And I just had to be quiet and let those things come to me.
I love the intentional pause within the forced pause.
Yeah.
And I want to underline that because I think what happens when, excuse me for saying this, shit hits the fan, is
Hmm.
you can just kind of deny it and just kind of try to roll with it, kind of just in a fog, in a whatever
Yes.
state we can manage, or we can actually pause and make a game plan.
Hmm.
And we might be a headless chicken for a couple hours or days until like our brain catches up with our emotions and things settle a little bit, and that's totally
Yeah.
normal for professionals that speak about pausing all the time.
All the time.
And then you make a game plan, and that's kind of what my publication is about: is me time, pause, decide, do the thing. And
Yes.
that's exactly what you have to do, and there's no prescription of when you have to do it. You do it when you need to, and you understand it. If you listen to your body, if it's like tiredness or illness, or listening to the people around you if things are not working out, or
Hmm.
to the little human that's like, Mom, I'm gonna take
Yeah.
all your energy. So if you're thinking you're gonna be able to write and think complex thoughts, forget about it. Like my notes have been so hectic lately, and grammar, spelling, nothing works. I'm like, delete, delete. Anyways, so I love that. And you were saying that the countdown to 2026 included a lot of facts about
Mhm.
pausing. So I'm gonna kind of prompt you now to think about your tips, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
start with mine just so I give you a bit of
Okay. Okay.
a bit of a thinking time while I'm like ranting a little bit about my year of the pause. So when I quit my job, I said I'm gonna take a year of me time. But at the same time, I let know a previous boss of mine that I was kind of leaving my job, and he's like, "Start your own company. I need you. Start your consultancy. We're gonna do something together." And then at the same time, I wanted to write and really and start a podcast, which was something my previous job didn't want me to do,
Mm.
whatever reason. So I felt like it was kind of this declaration of independence. This is my
Yeah.
inner me time. I'm going to start my podcast. And I started on Substack because it was just the easiest way for me to wrap my head around all the technology.
Hmm.
Um, so I started on me time. 1st of January, I wanted to publish my first episode in the podcast. And then it developed into a whole thing, a newsletter, a community, and something that I'm very, very proud and attached to emotionally, and feel a bit conflicted maybe about kind of pausing right now.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I realized that for me, my rhythm needs breaks regularly, especially for the amount of work I was doing while I was working full time and now. And my particular type of person that goes super intensely when I am on needs a break every 3 months. Every 3 months, I need long weekend, a week where I'm kind of off and I can recharge. And I actually managed to do that in 2025. So every 3 months, more or less, I would have a trip plan or a family visit or something to break the um, out of the routine. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, this is so powerful and it was so good for my business because, especially as a solopreneur, you need to do everything. You need to respond to the things coming your way. You need to think about taxes, think about all the things that go in running a business. And actually, scheduling in these breaks that are almost non-negotiable gives you the detachment to sit and pause and think,
Hmm.
what am I doing? What's working? What's not? So every 3 months, I would tweak my publication, maybe not the name as you're doing, but kind of the thing after the name. I would tweak what I'm talking about. I would tweak
Yep.
how I talk to people. I would look at my business and increase my prices almost all the time. Like, no, this is still too cheap, too cheap. Increase the prices, more invoicing, and things like that. But things that are so important. So one of the pauses, I was on vacation, and I emailed my client and I said, I'm increasing the prices starting next invoicing period to 20% more. So for half of the year, I got 20% more revenue, not from getting more customers, but by aligning my pricing with what the market is showing and just knowing the value of the services I was providing on the
Yeah.
lead side of things. Would I have done the same if I was running my marathon with no breaks? Absolutely not, because we don't have time to think strategically when we're in a rush.
Yeah.
If you look at coaches, business coaches, people coaching CEOs, and super busy, super ambitious people, everyone speaks about the pause. Everyone speaks about taking a few hours every weekend, if you cannot do it in the week, where you like draw a line, think about what happened this week, think about what you need to improve, what are your top priorities for the next week, and things like that. Without it, you're just running around. Um, from dumpster fire to dumpster fire, and
Hmm.
you're clear if that fire is actually worth your effort and your time.
Absolutely.
So, Nicole, some of these facts that say pausing is actually better than just kind of go marath- marathoning to
Yeah.
life.
But yeah, wait, can you ask that again? I'm sorry.
I was saying, if you can give us some of the facts that you found as you were counting down to the pause
Mhm.
about benefits to pausing,
Yeah.
especially as a solo person, solopreneur, busy entrepreneur, busy mom, busy person. We're all busy. We all can benefit from pausing.
Yeah. I think. Well, the first one is definitely what you have said about clearing your mind, because we are running on autopilot so often. Um, as not only as women solopreneurs, but as anyone, when you get in the car and you're driving and it's like, how did I get here? Because it's the route that you take all the time. You don't even have to think about it. That is kind of what happens just in life. We get into these patterns, and we just keep going. We keep going. We keep going. And as you said, putting out little fires here and there, pausing, creating a rhythm of pause is like what I like to call it. Creating your own personal rhythm of pause allows you to break that up, and it allows you to just kind of shift your brain a little bit, allows your brain to slow down. It's really great for your nervous system as well, because we're always, you mentioned that earlier, we're always in this kind of heightened place of just constantly moving, and there's deadlines, there's invoices, there's meetings, there's emails, and
Why?
all the yes, lives, there's all the things, and we want to do those things. However, it can keep us in such this place of um not really urgency, but just like this constant, it's like a constant moving, a constant spinning, and pausing even for a moment. Noemi, this is one of the things that I really try to tell people. And we talked about this a lot. You mentioned that I had an event um earlier this month. And in that, one of the things I really emphasized is that even taking 5 minutes, even 1 minute of stopping what you're doing and deep breathing, or sitting in silence, or, I don't know, closing your eyes. There's so many different things. 1 minute has been shown to shift your state of being. And so if we can get into our minds that a pause does not have to be um 30 minutes of silence, because sometimes you're like, I can't do that in a day, and you may not be able to do that in a day. But can you do 1 minute? Can you do 5 minutes? Can you make sure you're doing an extended, maybe 20 minutes on the weekend? Or how can it look for you that you can create these pockets of pause in your day, so that you're giving your mind and your brain the ability to just slow down, just rest, even giving it oxygen, like making sure you're breathing properly. That's one of the things that I feel people really need to understand and begin to prioritize that, because once you start doing that, those smaller pauses, it can become a little bit easier to think about, okay, yes, I need to have once a month, once a quarter, this longer, whatever it is for you. Of course, there's no real prescription, right? Because we're all different. We all have different schedules and different capacity needs, but we do need to have something that is regular that
Yeah.
we're doing for ourselves.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I think, as I was saying, with my pausing, for me, it's every 3 months, I need like a few days totally off. And
Hmm.
with my situation being in Denmark, in the workplace here, you can kind of handle it with your vacation days, sick days, things like that. And as a solopreneur, you're your own boss, so you can actually mandate and plan your own time so that you can have these breaks that are strategic. About the short pauses and about moving from this kind of constant stress
Yeah.
we're in, from when I was really burnt out. There was no material about burnout recovery or pausing or what I should do in it. Even the psychologist I was seeing was like, yeah, just look at the sky or something. And I'm like, thanks. Uh, and things like that. So I did a lot of research. There weren't that many books at that time, or I couldn't find them with my burnt out brain. Maybe there were.
Yeah.
But I watched a lot of podcasts. I did a lot of soul searching. I did a lot of reading of what I could put my hands on. There was a lot of information from neuroscience that really caught my eye, and this thing that was saying that our brain on stress is basically giving the autopilot to our amygdala, so acting out of fear and automatic
Yeah.
responses, which is not the best place to make decisions as a business owner, as a human in general. So
Yes, exactly.
doing the deep breathing, taking that
Mhm.
5-minute break or whatever you can handle, switches
Mhm.
you actually from the stress mind, the amygdala, the
Yes.
kind of automatic like no's or stress responses, or taking things personally, or things like that we can do when we're in too much, when we're overwhelmed, to going back to the prefrontal cortex, where our
Mhm.
mind lives, where also creativity gets a bit unlocked, because all of a sudden the brain feels safe again. So actually, when I'm in a very busy day, I can notice myself kind of like holding my breath while I type or
Yes.
things like that. And that's when you need to kind of take a break. Like if you catch yourself holding your breath while you type or do your things, that means you need to kind of breathe and do some
Mhm.
deep breathing and signal to your brain that you're safe. There's no
Yes.
saber-toothed tiger chasing you, hater of social media or whatever, and you can breathe. It's safe, it's fine, and then you'll see your brain will be like, okay, wait, I can prioritize. I can actually,
Mhm.
I just need to do this, or this is my focus for the next hour, and things suddenly get easier. But we need to have
Yes.
self-awareness, and we lose the exercise of self-awareness when we don't take these breaks. I want to think about
Mhm.
another type of break inspired by the maternity leave, which is in a way a forced break in terms of it's not like I can decide to work through the labor and just
Right,
go
right, right.
birth. I mean, I could, I guess, but oh my God. So it's kind of forced in a way because it has to happen. But I'm also welcoming it as a
Yes.
reminder to myself that I can exist outside of Substack or my working persona or my professional abilities, that I exist as a person regardless of what I do in the world and what I do to help and to earn money and to have a place in society.
Mhm.
It is an amazing time to really see who misses me and what they miss.
Yeah.
If you're always there offering all kinds of stuff to people, there's going to be people that like it, people that don't. But when once the waters settle and there's a break and there's a pause, you can really understand what people miss. And I can see already messages from people missing my one-on-ones, where we do strategic discussions about our publications and how that can really fulfill our goals for our businesses and things that we're doing. So I can see already, after like a few days of saying I'm not taking more thing, I'm not doing anything more, that things are trickling in. So I'm looking forward to this period to just absorb a lot of feedback, just be, just pause and just absorb what messages come to me, what people are telling me, because that
Yes.
will me steer my next chapter of Substack towards something that's much more useful to anyone that joins me. And you don't
Yes.
need to go on maternity leave to do that, guys. You can just decide, okay, January is my break time. People love to take January as like, oh, start the year with a with a bang or whatever. It can be June. July is an excellent time to take a break in the year because it's in the middle. You can look at the first 6 months, what you've done, and then plan the next 6 months. There's so
Yes.
many beautiful times within the year or within your kind of rhythm of your own year where you can naturally fit in a break. Also Easter, I don't know in US if you guys get a few days off or something there where you can pause a little bit, and
Some
instead,
of us.
and it's slower anyways. People are kind of like trying to
Mhm.
be with family or traveling. It's
Yeah.
slow at least. And in that time, you can also give yourself permission to not hustle on notes or whatever you're doing in your life, and just say, this is time for me to be with my family. And as my productive part of being is me thinking about what I've been doing so far, what's working, what's not. Because without that
Yep.
filtering system that we always give opportunities to ignite, to start,
Mhm.
we're going to continue on roads that should have been left a long time ago.
It's so true. Like everything you're saying, I'm thinking about my pause right now and how, it's like everything kind of abruptly stopped with my Substack. And I was like, oh, I can't write. Every time I would try to sit down to write something, I would be interrupted or someone needed me. I was too exhausted. I just couldn't do it. Like I have a note in my phone for a Substack post that has been since like I don't know, January something. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And so as I would kind of pop on Substack every now and then to see my subbies, I call them my Substack buddies and what they were up to. And I would see you and, just a few other people that I always try to check in on and see what they're doing. And as I watched, I started to think about what do I actually like about Substack and how do I really want my Substack to be? I'm a coach and I'm a person who serves other people before Substack existed. So me trying to um me trying to kind of figure out Substack from like all these other people who are doing all people do Substack in such creative ways. There's all kinds of different ways people are doing it. And sometimes as a new person on Substack, that can be so overwhelming because you're looking and you're like, oh wait, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. And then by the time you know it, you're doing all these things, you're so busy and it's really not fun anymore. And so my pause, even though it was something that I didn't choose, it is really allowing me to reevaluate how I want to show up on Substack when I'm able to come back fully, which will be probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Like as you're leaving, I'm going to be coming back, and I'm coming back with this refreshed mind and just, I think, new ideas about how I want my message to be presented, not just what do I need to do on Substack. Like it's not I don't know. I feel like if you're not careful, you can fall into the 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 pattern of just chasing what everyone else is doing instead of just being authentically who you are and showing up that way. Of course, there are tips and things that you can use to improve, but really it's about who are you and what are you called to do and how does it look for you to show up on Substack or anywhere else you are.
I love the Substack pause for the sake of kind of reducing FOMO. I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast where she invited two professors. I think they're from Stanford, and they're all about life design. And
Mhm.
why they were positing that FOMO is a symptom of not having a life that is focused on something you're really passionate about, because you shouldn't be feeling FOMO, because there's many things that can attract that, because everyone's life looks shiny and new from the outside.
Yeah.
You should have what did he call it, like, you should feel glad that you're missing out these amazing things because you have your own things going on,
Mm.
choosing
Mhm.
not to do all of these amazing things that you could participate or go to or look at or whatever
Yeah.
experience, because you have your own project, your own things happening. And the same on Substack, not FOMOing other people going on lives, going to the Substack in-person meetings in New York, which I have a problem with. Why don't they stream it? They have like a recording studio and go live technology. Anyways, not FOMOing about those things, but actually being like, I'm so excited about what I'm doing that that stuff doesn't matter to me. I feel lucky
Mhm.
in my life and in my,
Mhm.
and when you feel FOMO, a lot of FOMO, then there's some misalignment there. And you need to ask yourself, why am I not feeling excited about my life, my projects, the things I'm,
Mm.
because I think that's another type of pause, a pause to
Yeah,
think, why am I feeling jealousy? Why am I feeling FOMO? Why am I feeling imposter syndrome? Why am I feeling all these different things that don't serve me?
yeah,
And really addressing it. But if you don't pause a little bit, at least to think about it, you're not going to figure it out. You're going to run on this treadmill, never ending. If you look at Substack and all of the amazing things people are offering and doing and saying, and you can, it can be a full-time job just reading Substack news.
absolutely.
Like,
Mhm.
if someone would pay me, I might.
Yes.
um, so that's the thing. Unless you know what your goal is and you have these periodic pauses to prioritize, you're not going to achieve anything. And another type of pause that I want to bring up is the end of day pause that I do. And that is, I've worked a lot. Maybe I didn't take a proper breath the whole day, but at least I do. My day is ending and I'm not
Yeah.
thinking more. And then what I do is I email myself with the top three things that I want to reach tomorrow. The first thing is the one that if I do, my next day is a success. And the next two things are the things that if I also do those two on top of the first one, I'm just killing it. And whatever else happens and whatever else the day brings is,
Mhm.
it's a bonus or noise.
Yeah.
And this has helped me. There's a lot of people that say, Noemi, I have no clue how you do all the things you do, like the templates and the Gumroad and the do sessions and newsletters and lives, and you have like a legal consultancy. Like, how can you do all that? My three things to do in a day, because I don't
Yeah.
get lost too much in the noise of other things. I
Yes.
can focus on the things that really matter to me and get that done. And that type of focus actually pays off. It doesn't seem like it would, but it
But
does.
it does. It does. It really does. That's something that I recently instituted as well, that same type of thing. Um, and it does really help. Another thing that I have done is I ask myself three questions. And it's not necessarily beginning of the day, end of day. I usually try to do this, especially if I feel any type of like anxiety, or like you said, I catch myself not breathing, or any kind of tension throughout the day. I ask myself, what do I need in my spirit? What do I need in my mind? What do I need in my body? And it could be you need water, or it could be you need to stand up. It could be you need to stretch, or it might be you need to deep breathe to just like slow yourself down. But at least I'm raising that, as you talked about the self-awareness, I'm raising that awareness of what's going on within me, and I'm saying I'm going to give myself what I need. But
Hmm.
if I don't slow down enough to even ask the question, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm sensing, I'm feeling tight, I'm feeling, I don't know, I can't breathe, or whatever's happening. Okay, what do I need in my mind? What do I need in my body? What do I need in my spirit right now? And take the moment to give it to yourself.
Yeah.
It changes so much. It changes so much.
And hopefully the answer is not a vacation that you cannot give yourself
It-
right
the
away.
right. The funny thing is that, you know, if we begin doing these practices, like what you're saying, at the end of the day, maybe some people might do it in the morning, like how do I need to start? What do I need most in the day, or whatever it looks like for you? Or they institute the what do I need in my spirit, mind, and body throughout the day. When we start to do those things regularly, it changes our rhythms and our capacity so that we don't feel like we're needing to recover from our lives all the time. So that
Mm,
when you do take a vacation eventually, whenever you do take an actual vacation and you come back, you actually feel refreshed. Like,
mm.
because we can take a vacation, we can go off to a spa day, but if we come back to the same patterns of living, the same like stress and not like constant stress and not giving ourselves the pause, the regular pauses. If we come right back to that, nothing has really changed. We just gave ourselves like a moment. Maybe we took some great pictures, maybe we had some great memories, but we're not actually changing how we function in life. So the pause of like the daily pauses, the weekly pauses, the things that we're able to institute on a regular basis to actually change how we're living our lives, those are the things that really create major lasting change for us.
I would say that you going on a vacation when you don't allow yourself to catch your breath during the day means you're not on vacation.
Yeah.
You're just changing
Right.
location. You're
Yeah.
gonna be on your phone. You're gonna be like, feeling like you need to do a live or a newsletter that you need to schedule for sure. And people are like, "Where's my newsletter? Where's my?" That doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, guys, I'm pretty sure you know by now, but nobody for our newsletters. Um, One of the things that confirms that is, at least for me, what happens is I send a newsletter, at least two unsubscribes stem from that. So nobody's like waiting for me and my wise words to reach them, and will be so disappointed if it comes late. It doesn't exist, even though you try to stick to a schedule. If you do not give yourself breaks, it's also a signal that you don't matter and that you are not your own life. And as we were talking about with me time, and this whole concept of you're the CEO of your own life, is the fact that when you give yourself pauses, you say you're in control. Not life is in control, not your family is in control, or the people emailing you constantly. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you've experienced things on LinkedIn as a business owners and founders, that you get messaged by all these people trying to sell you stuff, and there are people out there that actually feel like they need to spend time to like give them an answer or even jump on a call just because someone sent you a message. And
Yeah.
I'm not of the same opinion. Our time is so precious, and once we make
Mm-hmm.
the switch and understand that we control where our attention goes, where our time goes, including if we're in a full-time employment, you can
Yes.
decide, do I need to overwork? Do I really need to help that colleague that never does their own work and then they're always like last minute, I need help? Or can you be like, I don't have the bandwidth right now, and sorry, you didn't plan better. What can I do?
Yeah.
And things like that, where you set some boundaries and you say that your time and your energy and the tasks you were planning to do from your little 3-step list or whatever you want to do is more important than what people throw at you, because then
Mm-hmm.
you show to yourself that you're important, and that really switches something in your head. When I started doing that for myself and stop trying to please everyone around me, I got promoted. I was happier. I was more appreciated at work, because people, I wasn't as grumpy all the time. I wasn't like, I don't know, feeling like I'm giving so much and people don't appreciate me, because I wasn't over giving anymore. I was giving the right amount of time to my work,
Mm-hmm.
to the pay according to the work times, according to what was fair. And the
Yeah.
rest I stopped giving. I said, I'm not going to jump on calls at night with the US. You guys need to hire someone in the US. And the fact that you haven't done it is not my problem. I didn't put it in those words to them,
Right.
course. But that was my thinking behind it. It's not my problem that a company doesn't have enough resources. It is the company's problem. My problem is to do the job the best I can and also stop when I know, should I join a call after full working a full day and being
Yeah.
like really exhausted? Will that really help grumpy half a brain Miami on the call at 8 p.m.? No, it's not.
No.
And those kind of things take you from, because then you join that call and you feel shit about it because maybe you said something
Hmm.
wrong, maybe you weren't diplomatic enough, maybe something goes wrong, and should you have paused and said no, created a boundary, you would have been able to, meet up the next day, know that you have a late call, so maybe start the day later or whatever, to kind of give yourself the energy to be able to go through it,
Yeah.
and everyone's better about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you valuing yourself. So I feel like the people that feel guilty about taking breaks, going on spa days, taking vacations, things like that, it comes from a sense of insecurity, and also from an environment that doesn't foster well-being for their employees, or whatever organization type reason you
Yeah.
get together. And if you're in that type of environment, there's tricks to get pauses in there. Block your calendar. Something is happening, don't respond. Sometimes you don't owe your employer constant availability. That is
Yes.
just impossible. And when we get on that and we believe we can do it, when we believe we're superhuman and there's no need for breaks, and weekends are just when work is a bit slower instead of no work at all, that's when our body starts breaking. And
Breaking.
when I was doing that as a new mom and wanting to climb the career ladder, I broke my health, went on super deep burnout, came out of it with two autoimmune diseases because I was just in
Mm.
denial of all of the things that my body was telling me, the feelings I was feeling, or the lack of the disconnection with my work. I just was denying it all, didn't breathe, didn't do anything. I was a machine until my body started like literally breaking down. I was having panic attacks and heart
Yeah.
palpitations, a lot of stuff, and my health went to absolute hell. And I was still kind of just trying to please everyone. And listen, nobody is gonna cut you any slack unless you ask for it. People don't
Mhm.
know what other people in the organization are requiring of you. They're just thinking of their piece. Oh, it's just a contract, it's just 5 minute call, it's just this, it's just that. But it adds up, and it's your duty to talk, to align with your management, with your direct manager, with whoever your stakeholders are, to say, listen, this is my situation, I have this and this happening, and this thing that you're getting to me now at the 11th hour, I will not be able to solve until next week.
Yeah.
And then have like an honest conversation about expectations and when people should reach out to you, or when they should, like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
stuff is
Yeah.
happening.
It's so true. And I had another situation that was kind of like another forced pause at my previous job, and I had to do this very same thing. Like, I actually ended up quitting the job. I know that's not the answer for everyone, and I'm not suggesting that it is, but for me in that situation, I had to, because they weren't going to honor what I was asking, and my body was breaking down, and it wasn't worth it to me. I'm not going to build someone else's dream and vision while I'm killing myself and you're not concerned about my health at all. So I needed to set that pretty strong boundary of leaving. But I also just want to say real quickly, everything you're saying about the job, like having to really, you're talking about self advocacy, advocating for yourself because you are worthy and you are valuable of this. This also applies to our personal lives, our families, our friends, all of the things that are pulling at us. even our children. I'm not a mom. I feel like I'm a mentor to many, but I'm not a mom. But I coach a lot of moms. And one of the biggest things is that there's guilt. There's guilt about taking time for yourself. There's shame about needing the time. And I really want to say, like, when you are bringing another life into the world and you're responsible for that life and you're raising that life, you also are responsible for teaching them how to value themselves and care for themselves. And if you don't value and care for yourself as their parent, they're going to see that, and they're going to begin to get into these patterns that create such high levels of stress and burnout in their own lives. Even as children, we see it in young children. So I just want to encourage, like, this is not like oh, you're bad for doing this. This is just a raising our level of awareness to say, hey, we are valuable people. And we have this life, we have this one body, we have this one mind, and we have to be stewards of that and taking care of that, and pausing and creating these new rhythms. Changing our patterns is one way that we can do that.
I agree. And I just saw Hattie joining, and we were talking, or she was posting something about the fact that her kids need their own me time, and that she
Yes.
makes sure that also her kids have an hour a day, or I can't remember what she was saying, where they just can do whatever they want to recharge, to kind of process, and have then the refreshed kind of feeling that you get after taking a break. And I want to talk about quality breaks, because breaking is great, but you can call it a break, but you're on your phone being bombarded by apps, information, bad news about what's happening in the world, and or someone
Yeah.
sending you messages about problems and things like that, and that's not a break. So I want to
Yep.
talk about quality breaks with you, and I want you to tell us a bit of like what are the types of breaks that recharge us really,
Mhm.
and what are the things that seem like a break but they're not.
Yeah. It's funny because one of the things that people tell me most whenever I start coaching someone new, I ask them, what does self-care mean to them? And what are they currently doing for self-care, or what would they like to start doing? One of the most common things that people will say to me that they're doing for self-care is scrolling on their phone. And I'm immediately like, this is not this is not self-care. And I try to act before I respond or react. I ask them more questions, and I'm like, how do you feel after you do that? How long do you do this? Where does your mind go when you do this? And the answers are usually not that great. And so I just take that as a teaching moment and say, how can we shift that? What is something else that you can do? So I try to get them, honestly, I try to get people to tap into things that they liked doing when they were kids. And so honestly, a lot of times they will say, "Oh, I really loved coloring," or "I really loved drawing," or, you know, something like that. And so I try to get them to institute those things into their current life. So I am an artist, so I'm really big on the art and creative process. And so I tell people, hey, a quality thing to do, especially before bed, because they'll say I'm scrolling before bed. And I'll say a quality thing to do before bed is, hey, why don't you doodle? Why don't you color? Why don't you use an adult coloring book? Or they may say, I love to read and I never have time to read. Oh, what about swapping out reading an actual book for scrolling on your phone? And then we talk about the different things you can do with your phone, like pausing different apps and changing the colors, making it black and white so it's not as appealing to you. Or, there's all sorts of things that have come out to help people deal with that kind of phone addiction that we have. But I really focus on that time right before bed. Like, what is it that you're doing right in those 2 hours before bed, because usually it's something that is stimulating your brain rather than bringing you down. TV, scrolling on the phone, um, those types of things are what I'm trying to get people to move away from, doing more reading, art. Another thing that I do because I love plants, I'm surrounded by them right now, is actually, even it, like, research shows that even just touching a leaf can calm your nervous system. So if you are a plant person or you like plants, using your plants in, bringing that into your pause. So when you're just being more mindful, when you're pouring the water, watering your plants, do it very slowly. Look at your plants, touch them. Make the things that you do that you actually enjoy an experience rather than a task. Like, it could be a task for me to take care of my plants because I have a lot of them. It could be long, it could be tedious, but I try whenever I can to slow that process down and to really engage with it. So to me, I a pause that is a productive pause that is really helping you is one where you're you're slowing down your nervous system, and you're creating space. You're not necessarily receiving in information. It's like you're creating space for you to release. It's like a release. So journaling, art, taking care of plants, maybe walking your dog, cuddling your dog, petting, all of those types of things are, you've now stopped receiving information and you're just being, and you're engaging with the moment around you. That's really important. um as we've talked about earlier, even just the breath, making sure that you're deep breathing, because we don't breathe properly throughout our day. We just don't do it. So even taking the time, extended time, music, breathing to the music. Even if you love dance, move your body. Like, all of these things, they seem simple, and I know that they seem like they may not impact, but in reality, they do so much for us.
For me, a good cheat sheet to really think if something would be a good pause or not is to understand, and maybe this takes a bit of self awareness and asking ourselves
Mhm.
these questions a few times, but does this activity make me feel present in my body? I'm there because
Yes.
scrolling
Hmm.
is like leaving your body and traveling to wherever the information takes you. You're in your
Yeah.
brain, you're not in your body. And the same, Netflix and chill. You get lost in
Yeah.
the show you're watching. You're like living almost in their reality, whatever that would be, and
Hmm.
it's escape and it's a way of relaxing, but it's not necessarily the most recharging type of activity, also because it eats into your sleep time, which again, and I don't know, maybe for sleep you don't feel present necessarily, but you know that's a medical it's
Yes.
to sleep.
Yes.
So apart
Hmm.
from sleeping, I think any type of activity where you ask yourself, does this make me feel present in the moment in my body?
Hmm.
Walking is excellent. Taking long
Walking. Yes.
showers or long baths, if you have the luxury of having a bathtub. Things like that, where and you leave your device out of there and you
Hmm.
know stand the scary stuff of being alone with your thoughts. It's necessary. Without
It
that,
is.
you don't know what you think about your life, about your coworkers, about what happened yesterday, about the world. You're just ingesting information and maybe without even realizing adopting opinions that you might not really have if you sit there and think about things.
Yeah.
Actually, having there's people that apparently prefer an electric shock to sitting in quiet and thinking their thoughts, and that's a crazy thing to realize, and it happens to me all the time where I feel like if I leave the house My phone, it's like I'm naked and going into the wild, and what will happen to me? Will I survive?
Right.
But once I do, I walk the dog, I go out with my daughter, you don't have that distraction. Having your phone reduces your IQ and your standard test taking or whatever by 20%. Having your phone present with you on your body, you don't need to be looking at it. Having your phone while you're having a conversation, even if it's face down on the table, reduces your amount of really participating in that conversation with the person you're with. And that's what I really advocate, is putting your phone to charge in a really inconvenient spot.
Yeah.
Like, I put it in my bathroom, and the only way to attach to the wall charging, and I can scroll there for a couple minutes, but there's no comfy way to do it for like more than a few minutes. And then I leave it there, and I go around my house doing the things, taking care of my plants. Cleaning is a great pause, and it doesn't
Yes,
feel
it
like a
is.
pause, but it is a pause.
Mm-hmm.
Sport is a pause. We're pausing the stress. We're pausing giving, but we're not pausing is about giving to ourselves. It's about
Mm-hmm.
release. So you release when you do sport, you release stress, you
Yes.
release endorphins, you release good dopamine that does not create a crash. And so you need to kind of balance out the giving um, to other people and giving to yourself. And when you pause, you recharge your batteries. And when you're in full on action mode, delivering, you are reducing the charge of your mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And if you don't regularly recharge, you will not be fully present there to give it to give the energy, the attention, the compassion, the love to your loved ones, to your work, to your passion projects, to your community, whatever you have to give. You cannot pour water out of an empty can, and we become empty cans when we don't pause.
Yeah.
Talking for an hour about pausing.
I know. I could talk about it all day.
I wish I could, but I need to pause and go pick up my daughter. It's beautiful. It's raining outside, so beautiful, so amazing. Spring weather in Denmark. So I would stay for another hour unless I'm going instead of going in the rain. But I just wanted to kind of wrap it up with like some learnings from our live, which is on my side in terms of pausing, that it is not selfish. It is
Yeah.
the way humans recharge. And for some reason, society has created this false expectation from us that unless we hustle hard, we're not going to succeed. And I vehemently disagree with that. When I took my year of me time and I stopped working full time and just did different things I wanted, including stopping work in the middle of the day to go play volleyball several times a week just because it was sunny and I had people to play with, has given me so many opportunities that wouldn't have happened otherwise, instead of in terms of personal connection, health, fitness, feeling happy about my life, and also going back to work with so much renewed energy because I've recharged my batteries, social batteries, my body batteries, giving myself a break to do something fun. We didn't touch upon joy as a way to,
Yeah.
as a key thing to kind of look for when you're taking your breaks, doing things that bring you joy, having a chat with a friend, calling someone up on the phone, and just seeing someone that you love, seeing how they are, reconnecting, all those things that can take you from being inside of other people's minds, worrying about things that you cannot control, and just kind of bringing it back to you, recharging those batteries to be able to give back. So it's not selfish, it's self-care. And you
Yeah.
need, I need to recharge from my daughter. And I even tell her, like, you've exhausted my patience. Now there's no more, mommy does not have any more patience. It's over. So I need to take a break, and you need to go to bed, and you need to sleep with your eyes shut. And I don't want to hear any more complaints anymore. Like, she can read me like a book in terms of how much to get. And then when I get that face of like, it's over, the fun and games are done, we are going to bed. And she's like, okay. And it, and in 5 minutes she's out, and I can take some time in the evening to kind of, I like cleaning my kitchen because I love waking up to a
To a
clean.
clean kitchen.
So I
Yeah.
just go there and I just clean and I think my
Mm.
thoughts and whatever, and then I look, see everything is clean, ready to be destroyed again in a few short hours, and I feel that satisfaction of a job well done. It's quiet, and then I can Netflix and chill if I want. I really enjoy spending time with my husband, kind of um, not gossiping necessarily, but like, speaking about our days and what he's done
Mhm.
and what I've done, what we're doing next day, and just really connecting over nothing, over a cup of tea, over alcohol-free beer, which is excellent in Denmark, and just having like an analog or a
Mhm.
human to human time where you're just human. I love board games. I love watercolor. I
Yeah.
love I love also having a podcast in the background that I don't necessarily need to care about, that is just kind of there for a company or back
Mhm.
noise, but I'm doing stuff around the house. I'm cuddling my dog, I'm cooking, I'm doing other things, and just having, one of those, like, acting like it's the 90s and I'm just kind
Yep.
of living my life, and not caring about my phone. My phone is on mute all the time. So
Same.
things like that. People cannot reach me. I never answer my phone because I don't hear it. Uh, that's
I'm
another
the
thing.
same.
Like
Yes.
causing the disruptive kind of signals
Mhm.
coming our way. So that's me in a nutshell in terms of pausing, and I feel like I rambled a bit there for a while. What about you, Nicole? What would you say would be kind of the top three things to really instill in ourselves about pausing?
I think it's important to remember that rest or pausing is not a reward for hard work. It is just a necessary thing. It's just how we were created. We need it. And so we have to prioritize it in that way. I think the other thing to remember is that just like how we talked about Substack and comparing ourselves and kind of trying to do all the things Substacky, remember that um, we were all created differently. We all have different capacities, and our rhythms of pause or our rhythms of rest don't have to look like the next person's. I mean, we can definitely learn from each other, but it's important that we raise our level of self awareness to what we actually need, and how it works best for us and our community, our surroundings, and our businesses, our jobs. It could look very different. What is good for me and what is good for you or the next person. So just really remembering that and trying to honor your own capacity, which requires you understanding your own capacity and understanding where you're at and what you truly need. So it requires a level of honesty with yourself about where you are, what you need, and what's going on with you. And I think the last thing is just to remember that a pause does not have to mean like a full stop. Like, it you can create pockets of pause throughout your day or throughout your week. It doesn't have to be this um like this overwhelming thing, like, oh, I have to pause for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever whatever might be in people's minds when they think about it. Even just creating that 1 minute where you can stop, and it has to be, like we said, it has to be the true stop. It has to not 1 minute to look on your phone, but 1 minute to maybe sit in silence, 1 minute to deep breathe, 1 minute to just think about where you are today, in the present moment, how you're feeling, what you need. um and just
savor.
really be intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe the fourth thing, Nicole, and I think you can speak to this right now as like, because you're going through it, is giving yourself more self-care and more pause when
Mhm.
you are in a caregiving situation, because as a caregiver you feel so much guilt leaving the situation you're helping with for even a second, because
Yes.
will need you, but you need to actually recharge even more when you're kind of giving so much more of yourself on top of whatever your life looks like generally.
Absolutely. I think for me, in the intense caregiving situation that I'm in right now, the one thing that I have grabbed hold of, because I don't really have much control over anything, is my food and my working out. Like, I have been like, I don't care what happens, I'm going to work out. I don't care what happens. I am controlling giving myself nutritious food during this time. And if I don't do anything else, and some days I can't do anything else, but I can do that. Like, I make sure those two things are happening. And just like out of this a whole season of my life of caregiving, I have I am doing a caregiving series, a podcast. So on my podcast, we're going to be doing a 6-part caregiving series. I start recording that in a couple weeks. So that'll be coming out with different people who are going through various types of caregiving situations and just kind of sharing their experiences, what they've learned about how to take care of themselves in these situations. So that is coming soon.
I'm looking
Excited.
forward to the episode where moms on maternity leave with new babies get to
Yes,
take
that
care
would be great.
pause and pause. And I remember from my first baby that if yeah, she was waking all the time at the beginning. So at one point I told my husband, I don't care at 11 if she wakes up until 1, it's your job. You get a bottle. I'm sleeping, I'm not awake, I'm not turning, I don't care, I'm putting earplugs in my those are your hours of caregiving. And it gave me a bit of, like, having 5 hours in a row of sleep to kind of be able to go on.
Yeah.
I would go to work, and then I would be left with my first daughter for the rest of the day, and the dog and things. So after a few weeks or maybe a month of being like no sleep and doing nothing else but that, I was like, I need time. And
Yes.
it's like not a luxury, having some sort of normal sleep pattern is so important. And we had those kind of conversations when I was hitting some sort of new low or struggling
Mhm.
with my caregiving, because also taking care of a newborn is
It's
the same story.
absolutely caregiving. Yes.
There are the people at the beginning of the life and towards the end, and then sometimes even in the middle if there's
Some kind
illnesses
of illness.
or things that happen. And throughout all those episodes, you also need to look at yourself. Do I have the capacity to continue caregiving in the same way, or do I need help?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
learning to ask for that. So
Yeah.
guys, subscribe to Nicole, subscribe to the pause so you can hear about the caregiving series. If you don't know me and you haven't subscribed, you can also do that. I would love to see you there. um, this is my last live, so it's it's time to almost say goodbye. But I want to look a little bit about people wrote a little bit. Scylla wrote that she has been told that um, we have been told that we have to be busy all the time, productive. Doing the rest is so important, and to do it without guilt, especially. And I totally agree. And then
Yes.
also, Scylla said, when I had a baby and a toddler, I started going to yoga once a week, and it was so necessary. That was my me moment. And
Yeah.
that's exactly it. I think guilt is something people especially women, have been plagued with for so long, for doing things that literally are survival for most people, like
Yeah.
taking a shower, going to the gym, things like that, sleeping at night, at night,
Exactly.
go into the bathroom without a bunch of spectators there vying for your attention. If you know what I
Mhm.
like, even my dog chases me into the bathroom, and if I don't close it properly, he's gonna like push it open and come be with me in the bathroom. So it is not selfish to pause. It is a necessary thing. And
Mhm.
I want you guys to give yourself, you don't need permission, but if you need to think of that, give yourself, allow yourself to recharge, because only with that can you come back and give 100% of yourself to your family, to your projects, to your work, to your community, to whoever needs it. And you're
Yes.
going to be on top of your game instead of just running on fumes.
Yeah. Dedicating time to yourself. Yeah, it is essential. Yeah, it's so true. And I hope that Noemi, when you come back, we will do a caregiving episode together um about mothering and new babies. So
Yeah.
that'll be great.
I accept your invitation to talk about
Yes.
pausing when you're on a pause, technically. But I think maternity leave is
Yeah.
not necessarily a vacation by any
Yeah.
imagination.
No.
So I'm excited to keep you guys a bit still in my purview, and still show up on Substack a little bit, hopefully without FOMO, and just kind of, out of love and out of missing you guys. And I think it could be useful to really document a little bit how I could be away from Substack, but still be present enough that it doesn't feel like this huge schism, break, full stop thing that somehow damages or doesn't damage, and what practices have worked. And for all of my subscribers, I have put in the chat that I'm looking for people that want to do guest posts on my publication while I'm on maternity.
Mm.
DM me with your ideas, your proposals. I want to hear from you. Any type of tips, tricks, things that can help people go from dreaming the thing to doing, and
Mm.
what can help us. It can be about pausing and benefits of pausing. It can be anything that gets us from doubt and waiting and postponing and denying ourselves the thing, the dream, the thing that would light us up from the inside, to getting to finally do it. So if you have those types of topics, DM me and we can get it together. And for those that already DM me about it, I haven't had time to respond, but I am planning to respond tomorrow. Because I'm going on maternity leave, I have like incredible amounts of paperwork in Danish, and it just takes a lot of my brain power. So even though I want every day to get around to it, I just don't. I lose the bandwidth at one point, and I need to stop. So thank you so much for joining me today. We're gonna have a recording that's gonna be on my publication and also on Nicole's publication, so you can listen to the beginning of the conversation if you join in the meantime. Please, if you're going to take anything out of today, is you deserve to pause. It's human. Being human is awesome. Being superhuman is not an option, as far as I know. So there's there's no way around it. Give yourself pause with love and generosity, and you'll see a lot of returns
Yes.
from this. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for spending your me time with us today. I hope you got something useful from this. And I'll see you around the Substacks a bit less, hopefully, much less, so I can really enjoy this little chapter, a little break in my life. But I will definitely try to gather some learnings that then I will share with you guys about how to, be able to take a long break from Substack, but still keep it going a little bit, because life will have
Mhm.
chapters where you might need to kind of step a bit back from
Yeah.
these types of activities and focus on really important deliverable or a delivery date or things like that. And yeah, with no further ado, thank you for this beautiful season of Substack with you guys. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the support. Even when you're not giving me direct feedback, I feel the presence. I feel you guys taking some of the things I'm sharing and really absorbing it. I want you guys to succeed, but do it on your terms. Take your me time regularly so you can decide how you want to show up on Substack instead of just getting lost in all the FOMO and all the numbers and stats and all that stuff that is just meant to gamify the crap out of Substack and make us really feel shit about where we are. And you can take back that control with pausing.
Yes. Thank you, Noemi. We'll miss you.
Nicole, I'll be back in a jiffy. It's gonna fly so fast. I know it will. And I'll still be around, just not on lives and workshops and things that take too much time to organize. And I don't want to disappoint anyone. So
Yeah.
I can show up once in a while doing things as I have the time and energy to do it, but I cannot promise anything else. And I'm giving myself
Yes.
permission to just not
Yes.
have to do it for a while.
Yes. Absolutely.
Take care, guys. I
All
wish
right.
you an amazing day. Remember, me time is a right that you have inherently. And if you need a permission slip from someone, DM me and I'm going to write you a note.
Bye.